Vincent King, and this is my beautiful wife, Mrs.
Shirley Walker King.
And we are here to talk all things relationships, love, and marriage. First, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to our first episode of Ask the Kings, where we spoke about how we met and where we met.
The introduction.
In beautiful California, Mexico. On this episode, we want to dive into how do you know that that person is the one, he or she is the one. How do you know that? How do we know that? So that's what we want to speak about on this episode.
Okay, from a man's point of view, how would you answer someone saying, how did you know she was the one?
I think it's different for everyone, but in general, I think you just kind of know, Mm-hmm. Like when I saw you, although my boy kind of beat me to you, he was a little quicker.
Slow to his roll. We already went over that.
But see, it worked out in the end. That's how it was supposed to work out. But I think you just kind of, I know for guys, I think you just kind of know. We fight it, but I think you just know. As they say, your soulmate, your better half, that person that lights up your, is that a saying? They light up your life? That's
There's a song, corny, You Light Up My Life.
Yeah.
You light up my life and give me hope, to carry on. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
She can sing too.
But I mean, when you find that the right person, I think it's just something that you get excited. You get excited about. You're excited to see them.
Yeah, I would say you're definitely excited to see the person that actually give you butterflies. You give me butterflies. Okay. So yeah, I think you do get excited to see the person. Yeah. So when you see them, you hear from them throughout the day. They call you. Your face lights up when you see that they sent you a text or an IG or liked one of your photos.
Yeah. We didn't have all that back then. It was straight calling. You were sending something. You had to remember things. You had to remember numbers, addresses. Yeah, so we didn't have all that IG. I mean, when I was going out to sea, I sent her flowers. So guess what? I had to remember all that stuff. So, yeah, we don't do that now.
So the one makes you remember things.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That one will make you definitely. And everything else falls off. Get it? All that other nonsense kind of goes by the wayside when you meet that one. That's for both sides. And I think everybody's kind of having conversations with someone. If you meet the person you're with now, you meet them, they probably already on the phone talking to somebody, don't mean anything. But when you meet that one, I think all that kind of just drops off. Yeah, but I'm dropping them dimes, y'all. Ask somebody.
Y'all better pick up them coins. So we say they bring you butterflies, they light up your life. Would you also say that you make time for them?
Yeah, and that's, you make time for what you want to make time for, And I mean, we all busy, have jobs, and I think that's another thing. You guys have to be compatible, so they need to understand that. You need to understand that, that person had a life before you, so whatever you guys are doing separately, okay, well, she's working. I know she has a busy schedule this week. She has presentations doing, so don't be blowing somebody's phone up. And I mean, that's kind of selfish, so. But again, I think you still can make time if it's nothing but 5 minutes. Hey, call me at this time, or meet me, an hour. Give me a little 5 minutes of kisses and go about your business.
So then, for people who are in a relationship and they are not the other person's priority, what do you say?
If they're in a relationship, say it again.
Yeah, if they're in a relationship, because the question is, how do you know if that person is the one? Mm-hmm. So if that person is not giving you their time, then you're probably not the one.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not, then it's kind of self-explanatory. I don't think you can force the issue because you're just not the one.
Okay.
So I think that's on both sides. And I think the other person knows. So maybe you want it to be the one for you, but yeah, I think then at that point, if they're not making that time, again, you make time for what you want to make time for. So if they're not willing to make that time, then it might be time to move on.
To the left, to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so another way that you can tell that person is the one for you is because you can be your true, authentic self.
Yes.
I say that from the standpoint of you don't have to hide your claws until the marriage. Mm-hmm. You can actually be who you are. At the beginning of a dating relationship, we all send a representative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a no bueno. Mm-hmm. Because you want that person to see the best half of you that you want them to see, mm-hmm. but that may not be the best half of you that you are. So when that person is the one, they accept you for who you are, your flaws and everything.
You might
accept
laugh
you.
A little too hard, do a little burp, a little
snort,
pass a little gas up, but hey, see that she about to snort, y'all. Okay,
that's not one of my traits, but just to give you an example, but that's not one of my traits. But yeah. One of my traits is timely, being on time. So,
and that's a big one, but that's been a lot lenient through the years because being military, it's about being on time. Early is on time. So that kind of I'm serious. It kind of irritated me a little bit. But, after military life, it's like, it's not a deal breaker. You just kind of have to adjust, you know what I mean?
So that leads us into our next one. When you know the person is the one, their imperfections are not a deal breaker.
Right.
So,
yeah, definitely.
So me not being the most timely person in his world mm-hmm. was not a deal breaker because he saw the genuine efforts that I was making, if you will.
Yeah, she giving herself a little pat on the back, y'all.
Take it when you get it, and give your own if you need to. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. Once you see that person for who they are, so then and they're not, of course, doing that to be spiteful or anything like that. Then I think again, it's up to you though. What's a deal breaker for you? Another way you can tell if someone is meant for you, I would say if they bring out the best in you, and if you bring out the best in them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would agree. What would you say are some examples of your significant other bringing out the best in you?
There are many examples. I mean, you can say career-wise. Mm-hmm. If you're in class, any of that is they're just taking the time to study with you, just helping you out. They just want to see you go further in life, period. So I think that's a great example.
Oh yeah, and I only ask because and I know both that we've had couples that we have worked with, coached during some classes, and they have not had partners who brought out the best in them. They actually were in competition with each other.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. If you guys are trying to build a life together, to me it's kind of like tearing each other down. It's mm-hmm. like why are you competing? Now, if you're trying to really, if it's a healthy competition, you know what I mean. But
But what's a healthy competition? For example, when we played ball together, and you always thought you could beat a sister, and I had to show you what I was working. Y'all don't understand.
Do I need to go back to Corpus Christi, Texas?
You can go back to San Diego.
Naples, anyway.
Sir.
Yes.
You were not a ball. Okay.
She was the ball. I would give her that. She was the baller back then.
I'm just saying.
California, I was just a spectator. I was just coming to check out. Didn't want to invade her space. Mm-hmm. Y'all, they like, who is this new dude in here? So I think I only played one time in that gym with you guys. So, and I didn't play then. I was just, messing around.
Okay.
Yeah, you was the baller back then.
I'm just trying to say. But now don't get it twisted.
I'll give you props.
My baby got game.
Yeah.
Okay? even though, I brought out the best in him with his basketball skills.
Oh, that's what we was going.
That's what we were going. Hello?
I didn't even know.
I can't even reach a trophy up there, but if I could reach one of these trophies, I would show you guys. I am not playing here. He got skills. And so when we would play, everybody underestimate people. They underestimate me because I'm a woman. And they would underestimate King because he wasn't 6'6". But my baby got hops. He got hops, yeah. Okay, that's not what we were talking about. But it goes back to saying that they encourage you and bring out the best in you.
That's
so
true.
Yes, I brought out the best in his basketball game. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
She played, and I just kind of got on board because that's definitely what she liked to do. And again, I played coming up, but I didn't play seriously. And I just kind of really started kind of taking to the sport. Once we hooked up and we started playing together, we lived on base, and that was like our ritual. Brought our daughter up in the gym, so that's what we did 24/7. Yeah,
and it goes a little further than that too, because actually when we were stationed overseas, and I got an opportunity to try out for the overseas women's basketball team and played international basketball. Yes, I did. It was a sacrifice for the family. Because he was overseas serving active duty in the military, and we met a mutual friend who played over there and actually got me a walk-on, but it was not easy.
Right.
That was somewhere where at the age of 30, yes, I said 30, my husband had to encourage me to tell me I still got it and I can go out there and compete with these young ladies. So here I was doubting myself, but it was something that was on my bucket list that I wished I would have played professional basketball, because when I was growing up, the WNBA wasn't around. It was just beginning the ABA, I believe it was called then, but I was already a mother and a wife.
Right.
But when that opportunity came, you supported me in all those efforts, with getting a nanny. We stayed overseas, just about everybody had a nanny. And a housekeeper, so that I could play and travel with the team. So that's encouragement. You make those sacrifices.
Right.
And as for Vincent, while he was in the military, making the sacrifice of being on a ship so that he could be home, or moving overseas so that we could be together. He made sacrifices within his military career that was for the betterment of the family, not just his career. And I would say I'd always encourage you in the Navy to, go for the gusto, and everything that we do, we encourage each other. Like you said, there is some healthy competition, but you don't want to go overboard with it.
Right.
You want to keep each other encouraged and pull out the best in them and support them in everything that they do.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. And then bringing out the best in them is also working with their, I won't say imperfections, but working with some of their imperfections or shortcomings, like being on time. Like Vincent said with me, time was one of my things. So he always worked with me with, okay, it'll help you be on time if you get your things together at night.
I have to do it in a subtle way, because she, be a little snappy about trying to. She listens. She try to play like she doesn't listen, but yeah, because she say, "Hey, 1 o'clock," that means.
I got out of here.
That's 1:30 for her, so I try to go 30 minutes early, 12:30.
Moving right along.
Yeah, moving right along. So if your values and goals and must-haves are in alignment, then to me that's another telltale sign that this person might be for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there will be some compromise without any doubt. Like, you're going to compromise from day one to day none. But the compromise won't feel like losses if you get that. And some of you guys are going to get that and think, damn, she hit that on the nail. Yeah, if your compromise feels like losses.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to always be that one doing all the compromising. Again, we've talked about before, nothing's 50-50, but you don't want to always be the one that's making the sacrifices and the compromises, Yeah, that's not a good...
But in general, everything will align. You will have a general foundation of what you agree to, how you want to raise the kids, how you want to run your household, those things will line up, for the most part. And then the must-haves as far as education, as far as financial goals and things like that, you guys will want the same thing.
Right.
You want to move in that same direction on your career paths. You want to be all that you can be,
definitely.
in the Navy and in the Army.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on what that career path is for your significant other. So, if she's going to medical school, I know that's some time that needs to be spent doing what she needs to do. So, we're going to have 2, 3, 4 years, 5, 6 years that I'm going to have to take up some heavy slack. You know what I mean? So, and again, the reward will be bigger at the end, but those are some big sacrifices you have to make.
Oh yeah, during the time that you were going through your TDRL with the military, with your retirement and your disability, there was a time when the whole household was in school. Vincent was working full time and going to college at night. I was working full time and going to college at night. And we had a child who was in school. So it was a challenge, but we knew it was what we needed to do for the relationship to grow.
Right.
Which again brings us into, you will face challenges within your relationship.
Yeah.
However, when it's the right person, it won't feel like it's a no-win situation. It will feel like a challenge that you will overcome.
Yes.
And so then also, those challenges will make your relationship stronger.
Yeah, I just definitely the commitment. Yes, and a challenge that we faced together is while in the military. I think we were stationed in Italy at the time, Naples, Italy. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in '99, and you hear a lot about it now, but in '99, you're like, what is that? So that was like a big battle, definitely a big challenge at that point in my life, in our lives, that Shirley was because I was kind of shutting down, so she was constantly talking to me, like, we're not going to let this, get you down, you got to keep talking about it. I went to a support group, and I was sent from Italy to Maryland, Bethesda, Maryland, joined a support group, because I didn't know anything about Crohn's disease at that time. So she definitely helped me through that situation, going through the military. And then we ended up moving to Texas, kind of went through a 5-year, they call it TDRL, Temporary Disability Retirement List. Then after 5 years, they say, reevaluate you. We want to retire you out, or you're going to come back in. So after that point, I didn't want to go back in after 5 years. I'm like, I couldn't fit my uniforms anyway, so I really couldn't see myself going back in after 5 years. But they did. After that, they retired me out in 2006, I think.
But would you say that because you knew I had your back, and because you already knew that I was there for you and the one, you didn't have to worry? Got to bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, worried, but I knew just that, I knew she had my back, you know what I mean? So I can speak on so many other things about that. Just that person, having your back, that just means a lot, I think we spoke on some having power of attorneys, but I'm like, yeah, my wife got that. I'm not worried about her taking off on my millions. So,
He's not worried about that, y'all.
She got power of attorney. She can act as me. I'm cool with that, So she's the one for me. So I know she's not going to do me wrong. But yeah, definitely, I think that definitely helped the situation, because I knew you were genuine, with your intentions. And so, of course, saying some things I didn't want to hear at the time, but that had to get me riled up to say, hey, you can beat this. So, yeah.
Okay. So you would say with that situation, we already knew that our goals, our values, and our must-haves were aligned.
Yeah, definitely aligned.
Okay. Because that's another way that you can tell that person is the one.
Yeah, and I mean, everything's not going to line up right off the bat. It's going to take some time for things to ferment.
But when you're dating and you have those conversations and you talk about what's your 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goal.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It should line up. You know, if they don't have anything in their mind or on their life plan, then that may be something that you have to consider. If that's someone who doesn't think about the future. Yeah. If that's someone who doesn't think about owning a home, and you know you want to own a home, you got to have those conversations at the beginning. In order to know if that person is truly the one for you, that your goals, your values, and your must-have are aligned. That doesn't mean it's a straight line.
Correct.
That means that they're within range of each other.
Right.
Okay.
Was there any little room for, you know, it needs to be like this? Or is there any room? You know what I mean?
Right, because that will help you get through the challenges that you will face.
Definitely.
So you want to know that the person that's for you and is going to have your back is going to have your back through good and bad, sickness and health, mood swings, menopause, hair changes, braids, cutting it off, coloring it, all that.
Yeah, as we wrap up episode 2, guys, let's do a recap. The question posed is, how do you know that you found that person for you? Number 1 is, you can be your authentic self. Number 2 is, you guys bring out the best in each other. And number 3 is, you guys are committed to the relationship.
I'm just saying. This is not a commitment. Yeah, this is commitment. See that? Woo! Okay, wait a minute. Tell them back? Okay. Okay, so now we want to know from you. How did you know you found the right one? Yes. Put it in the comments below and tag your significant other as well. And then be sure to like us on all social media platforms at Ask the Kings. Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Twitter as well. Ask the Kings.
And as always, we want to leave you guys with this.
Marriage and relationships are what you make it.
So remember to put in that work.
Work.